Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. The Miami Heat bounced back last night and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 113 to 110. Miami Heat were in another close game, and as we know as Heat fans, that is becoming a norm for this team. This was the 34th game for the Miami Heat this season. The team is now 17-17, and they're in ninth place in the Eastern Conference playoff race. And so out of those 34 games, half of them have been decided by 5 points or less, which is kind of ridiculous. And also out of those 34 games, 22 have been considered clutch games. And again, the definition of that is NBA games that are within 5 points with 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. And that is the second most, only behind the OKC Thunder, who are at 23 clutch games. So again, torturous, close game for the Miami Heat. There's just no concept of blowing out bad teams. But again, that probably wasn't expected last night. The Heat were shorthanded once again, per usual. Jimmy Butler was out with a sprained ankle. He did not play in the fourth quarter of the Heat's last loss at home. And so it was a sign that, he didn't play in the fourth quarter. We had to assume that he was going to miss the next few games. The Heat are always super cautious when it comes to Jimmy Butler because he's consistently injured. And so that was unfortunate not to have him. And then Bam Adebayo was also out with a non-COVID illness. And so Dedmon, who luckily was out, I don't really consider him someone that we were missing, but the Heat were missing their center and their backup center, and then Omer Yurtseven obviously has not played a single game this season, so they were shorthanded when it comes to their backcourt, and so, or front court, excuse me. And so Orlando Robinson was a breath of fresh air and a surprise last night. He stepped in as a backup, so Nikola Jovic started in place of Bam Adebayo. He had a pretty decent game. This was his 8th start in his career. He had 9 points on 4 of 8 shooting, so played pretty decent, 19 minutes. He was definitely undersized in comparison to Rudy Gobert, who is straight up trash and just horrible. Can't believe the Timberwolves gave up 3 first-round picks for him. So, and the team is objectively worse this season than last, which is kind of comical. So, Jovic, stepped in and played pretty decent. But the story of the night was Orlando Robinson. Off the bench, played 27 minutes. He scored 15 points, which was a career high. And he grabbed 9 rebounds as well. 7 of them were offensive rebounds, which was amazing. He shot 7 of 9 from the field. He also had 1 block and 1 steal. So really nice to see him as a big plus off the bench. And I'm hoping and expecting that he takes Dedmon's minutes and plays at least 14 or even 20 minutes per game when everybody comes back healthy. So was really excited to see that performance by Orlando Robinson stepping in a big way as a rookie. So happy for that. Overall, I didn't expect the Heat to win this game with Jimmy and Bam being out, but the Heat were able to hang on. Tyler Herro played well from a playmaking perspective, so did Kyle Lowry. So those two really played a big part in helping us hold and sustain a double-digit win or double-digit point lead that we had at one point, which we typically like to blow. Herro didn't shoot particularly well. He had 14 points, 7 for 19 from the field. He was 0 of 8 from 3, which wasn't wonderful. But he did have 8 assists, and he's starting to, I wouldn't say blossom necessarily, but he's starting to become a better playmaker and getting his teammates involved, which is a good sign. Kyle Lowry did pretty good, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. He was 8 for 16 from the field and 0 turnovers. So Kyle stepped up big. We needed him to. Still don't think he's playing up to his contract value at this point in his career, but he's definitely playing better than last year. Caleb Martin didn't shoot particularly well, 3 for 12 from the field. which wasn't great, but he had 8 points, 8 rebounds, played pretty well defensively, which was good. And then Max Strus, we finally had a Max Strus sighting, and we've talked about how he's been in this horrendous shooting slump for the past month and has been shooting under 25%, and he's our sharpshooter 3-point specialist who replaced Duncan Robinson in the rotation. And if you can't shoot threes, then you shouldn't be in the lineup, right? You shouldn't be in the rotation. But he finally shot himself out of that slump, had 19 points, 7 for 12 from the field, 5 from 10 from 3. So hopefully he can string together a few good games and increase that shooting percentage, because we desperately need it, because the team overall still did not shoot very well from 3. Victor Oladipo kind of didn't do that well. 7 points, 4 assists, continues to struggle shooting. He's 0 for 3 from 3, 2 for 6 from the field. Gabe Vincent was back in the starting lineup after missing 9 games from a knee injury. He's missed around 14 games total this season, but he contributed with 11 points, had some big layups in the fourth quarter to help the Heat maintain this victory. So that was a good sign. It was nice to have Gabe back. And then Duncan Robinson had 9 points. He was 3 for 5 from 3-point range, only played 14 minutes. But he scored his 3,000th career points, and he hit 800 threes. And so now he's the fastest player to not only hit 200 threes, 300 threes, 500. Now he's the fastest to 800 threes, which is kind of ridiculous because he's been out of the rotation all season this year and half of last year. So basically he's still, contributing and one of the top 3-point shooters in the NBA, even though he's fallen out of the rotation. So it was good to see that the depth of the Miami Heat prevailed for the first time, and we got some good bench scoring. Typically our bench has been outscored this year, which was one of our biggest strengths. Now it's become a weakness. And so with our 2 big stars out this game, we got double digit scoring from 5 players, which is a good sign. So I was happy with the overall victory, especially because the Timberwolves were shooting 44% from 3 as a team, and we were only shooting 27%. The Heat did not get to the free throw line, and that's obvious with Jimmy Butler and Bam out. We don't have a lot of guys who can attack the rim, and so they only shot 8 free throws this game. I think the biggest thing that stands out is that the Heat were great with the ball. They had only 9 turnovers to 22 from the Timberwolves. The Heat did lose the rebounding battle, and that typically is a sign of the Heat losing the game, but it was only 40-44, so I was surprised, especially because they had Rudy Gobert, who's the second leading rebounder in the NBA, and Naz Reid, who is the Miami Heat scrub killer, and just had a phenomenal game. He always steps up against the Miami Heat. He had 21 points and 11 rebounds in 29 minutes. 1 for 4 from 3, 8 for 15 from the field. But it's just ridiculous. He's just one of those Miami Heat scrub killers who always just steps up against the Heat. He's had, out of 35 games this season, he's only had 3 games where he scored 20 points or more. And again, of course, one of them is against the Miami Heat. So Naz Reid played pretty well. Anthony Edwards had 29, 6, and 7, shot pretty well from the field, but didn't get much help outside of Naz Reid. D'Angelo Russell, only 13 points, but 8 assists. Rudy Gobert, 10 points, 8 rebounds, was non-existent. So yeah, it was just a good victory for the Miami Heat. Pretty excited that we're able to finally get a win at home. The Heat had previously lost 4 out of their last 5 home games. So excited that we were able to bounce back, get a much needed victory to get us back to 500. We just need to start stringing together a few victories and going on another streak right now. And I think that's going to start and happen only if Jimmy Butler can consistently stay healthy. I know he's not going to play in back-to-backs, but it's really hard to keep this consistency when our best player is constantly missing games. He's missed over a third of the season already. So in order for us to string together a few games and put together a win streak so we can move up in the standings, similar to the way the Nets have been doing that, the Sixers, the Knicks, we need Jimmy Butler back on the court. And so next up for the Miami Heat, the Heat are playing the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow night, so that should be a victory there. After that, the schedule gets slightly more difficult against the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Clippers. But then we get to play the Lakers again, which will hopefully be a win because I hate the Lakers and I think they're trash and they're horrible. So happy to see that we're playing the Lakers tomorrow, just hoping that we can put them away like we should. So anyway, thanks again for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you guys soon.